Welcome, and thank you for your interest in the Community Innovation Grants. This brief webinar will provide you with the background information on the Community Innovation Grants as well as the requirements for completing the application. Funding for the Community Innovation Grants is made possible by the Preschool Development Grant funded by the Office of Child Care Administration for Children and Families under the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. This webinar will cover an overview of the Preschool Development Grant, an introduction to the Community Innovation Grants, the grant application requirements, instructions on how to apply, as well as the timeline. The Preschool Development Grant is a one-year federally funded grant intended to improve our early care and education system by attracting and retaining early childhood education professionals, empowering families to make the best choices for their children, building regional networks of support, and increasing overall quality of early childhood programs. The grant is co-managed by the Wisconsin Department of Children and Families, the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, as well as other state agencies and partners. Our vision is that by 2023, all Wisconsin families will have access to high-quality, affordable, local early care and education opportunities. Wisconsin will achieve its vision through collaboration, innovation, and research to create sustainable changes in the areas of early care and education workforce, quality, affordability, and access in the pursuit of equity and inclusion. By focusing on communities, Wisconsin aims to be responsive to unique local needs, combine a variety of funding sources, increase local collaboration, and build ongoing sustainability at the regional level. Community Innovation Grants will address local needs across the areas of workforce, access, affordability, and quality. This is your opportunity to start something new or expand what's already working to reach more children and families. We hope that these grants will help expand your partnerships with different organizations and services. Community Innovation Grants will be funded at 3 different levels. Based upon the available funding, a minimum of 7 awards will be funded. Applicants must clearly indicate through the required budget narrative the amount of funding being requested. All applications will be evaluated based upon common criteria. The top grant proposal in each of the 5 PDG regions will be awarded first. The remaining awards will be made based upon the evaluation scores and availability of funding. The next several slides will detail the requirements of the Community Innovation Grant application. The application has a maximum of 7 pages for you to describe your plan and address the following details. The grant application includes 7 requirements, 6 of which are scored. Each area of the application is worth 20 points, except the activities section. As the activities section includes most of your plan's details, it is worth 40 points. An additional 20 bonus points are available for a total of 160 points. We will talk in depth about each of the requirements in the coming slides. Requirement 1 of the application requires applicants to use local data to help describe the need in the community for which the application is trying to address. Applications should clearly indicate the population and age group for which the program or plan is intending to serve. The PDG Sandbox can be used as one possible source for locating relevant data. The PDG Sandbox was designed to support strategic planning, the development of realistic and measurable goals, and to help drive objectives for local and statewide innovation grants. Project 2 of the application focuses on family engagement. Applications must describe how parents and caregivers will be engaged in guiding and implementing the plan, as well as how they intend to prioritize the needs of the families that they serve. Requirement 3 asks applicants to describe how they will address at least 2 of the 4 focus areas of the statewide strategic plan. The following slides will show examples of work that may be considered under each of these focus areas. Please note that the provided examples are intended to help spur creative ideas and is not intended to be an exhaustive list of the possibilities for the Community Innovation Grants. The first area of the strategic plan focuses on workforce. One possible program could be to start a local Family Navigators program. Family Navigators provide direct assistance to families with underserved or vulnerable children under the age of 6 to help problem solve and access services across early care and education, health, social services, and K-12 systems, as well as local community-based services tailored to meet families' needs. The next area of focus is access. Proposals under this section will focus on the ability for all children and families to identify, engage with, and participate without barriers in quality early care and education programs that meet their needs. An example of a proposal under access could involve the expansion of an infant mental health consultation program in your community. Affordability is the extent to which price is or is not a barrier to accessing and participating in the early care and education program services that a family needs. Early care and education programs are affordable when their price does not jeopardize a participating family's quality or standard of living. Examples of programs that could address the focus area of affordability could include a collaboration between a local business and an early care and education program to offer subsidies to families employed by the business. The final area of the strategic plan addresses quality. Quality of early care and education programs is a focus on the ability of the program to meet specific criteria and objectives. One example of a proposal focused on improving quality could be to work with families to identify the criteria that they believe define quality and incorporate those characteristics into local programming. Again, these examples provided on the slides are not intended to be a limit to the creative ideas or approaches to improving early care and education systems in communities. The next requirement, requirement 4 of the application, is your chance to tell us of all the details of your plan. Describe your activities using the SMARTY method. Each activity should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-scaled, and inclusive and equitable. A strong application will include a clear plan that shows exactly how you expect your activities to help lead to important and meaningful changes in your communities. Specific and measurable means that you need to define how many families and children will be served, identify any specific populations that will be served, the impact on the children and families being served, how many partners will be engaged, and the number of services connected to families. Achievable activities will describe why you believe that you can achieve each of the activities. Be sure to consider your past experience, your relationships, other strengths and resources that you bring to the implementation of the activity. Relevant means that all grantees will be chosen based on identified local needs and how plans address those needs, connection to access, affordability, quality, and workforce. For time-scaled, detail how you will accomplish the activity in 10 months and a plan for how it will be sustained beyond the grant period. Finally, describe how services will be targeted towards tribal families, families of color, multilingual families, families experiencing homelessness, families connected to the child welfare system, and/or families with children with disabilities. Describe how these families will advise your work so programs and services respect both the cultures and the languages of your community. Requirement 5 focuses on collaboration. Proposals must include a partnership between 2 or more organizations that clearly identifies a lead applicant and a co-lead partner. Proposals could include various types of partnerships. Public and private partnerships are strongly encouraged. Proposals must describe how the local plan will collaborate across industries and services, as well as define the roles and responsibilities of each partner. Possible partnerships may include connections between Head Start and literacy councils, Birth to 3 programs and trauma-informed care nonprofits, home visitation programs and county health department breastfeeding peer groups, child care and farm-to-school programs, and many more. The last scored requirement of the application is the budget response. Applications must provide a description of how funds will be used without supplanting or replacing use of existing funds. Be sure to describe how the plan will blend funding from each of the partners. Please note that detailed expenses will be provided in the budget narrative and do not need to be included in this section. The budget narrative is a required component for all applications. Applications must use the provided format in order to provide details for how grant funding will be used. The budget narrative is an Excel worksheet. The worksheet includes 2 tabs, both of which must be completed. A final component to keep in mind is that all grants will be required to submit a report at the end of the grant period, reporting measures of the activities. Applicants will want to consider how you will gather and report this data along the course of your plan. Up to 20 extra points are available for proposals that address the prioritization of families with infants and toddlers, implementation or expansion of family navigation, implementation or expansion of farm to ECE, and/or connections to 3 or more industries. These considerations must be detailed in the activities section of your plan in order to earn bonus points. The Community Innovation Grant application can be found on the DCF Applications website. You'll want to identify a partner agency and start developing your collaborative plan. Write your proposal addressing all of the requirements with a maximum of 7 pages. Be sure to complete the required budget narrative form. This is not included in the page limits. Finally, you're going to want to complete and sign the DCF application form. Responses should be submitted by email to dcfprocurement@wisconsin.gov no later than December 11th at 2 p.m. Ensure your submission is complete and fully transmitted by the 2 p.m. deadline. Applications not received by this time will not be considered. The Community Innovation Grant application period is open from November 16th through 2 p.m. on December 11th. All applications will be evaluated the second half of December with an anticipation to communicate award notices in the first full week of January. Due to the holidays, there may be some additional delays. Please note that all awards are subject to approval of a continued federal grant extension period. All work must be included or completed by October 31st, 2021. Please contact the Preschool Development Team at wipdg@wisconsin.gov with any questions related to the content of the application. Questions regarding the application processes should be directed to dcfprocurement@wisconsin.gov. Again, thank you for your interest in the Community Innovation Grants.